Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whenever, wherever you are watching this. My name is Marcus Octavius, and you are in the Foxhole. As usual, I have a little bit of business I need to get to before we get to the playlist. I know that's what all of you are looking forward to, or probably you're just waiting for me to shut up, just in general. I have some good news for those of you who are interested on the teaching front, who are interested to learn from me and hear from me on such things. With the virus still going around, I know a lot of states are starting to lift bans, things of that nature. If you do decide to go out and in a leisure manner, please continue to be safe. Please remember there is still a virus out there, and please think of your loved ones. And I'm going to leave that there. But anyway, for the teaching note, I have decided to do a series of basically video lectures. I've decided on 5 different ones. 4 of them are going to be recorded. One of them, which will be a basic Middle Eastern beats class of sorts, is going to be taught, looks like at the end of the month, maybe on what I think is Memorial Day weekend. If I'm not too terribly mistaken, correct me down in the comments below. But I decided on 5 classes. That one of them is basic beats. Another one is drum circle etiquette. That's one that commonly comes up very, very much. What to do, how to do it. A third one I decided to do as an interesting sort of juxtaposition is entertaining as a musician. Very often, for those of you who are, familiar with the more, for lack of a better word, Middle Eastern world of performance, usually musicians are not seen, they're more heard. That's no pun intended. And I've sort of come out of my shell in that regard, and it's a series of thoughts and opinions I have about not only costuming, but theatrics, presentation, and things of that nature. Another class I'm going to teach, which sort of piggybacks into the basic beats class, is an African versus Arabic type class. And what that is basically a class where I talk about the different African drums as opposed to the different Arabic drums, the sound, the materials used, and also how they influence most percussion that's used in Western, Western music today. And another class I'm going to do teaching, of course, these are all recorded except for the basic beats one. That will be on Facebook Live, like I said, on a date to be determined, but it'll probably be at the end of the month, Memorial Day weekend, either a Friday or a Saturday, whichever date that is. But the final class will be what I call having company, and that is sort of a piggybacking off of drum circle etiquette, but it also encompasses if you are a musician performing with a dancer, performing with other musicians, things of that nature, how to read body language, basically a general opinion of that as well. So, as always, keep your eye on the Facebook page down here, and I will keep you up to date on postings of that nature. On to the list. Back in the Foxhole is Bauhaus, Wolfsheim, Specimen, and Suicide Commando. Specimen, for those of you who are into goth rock, will no doubt remember that name. They never released an album, ironically. They released a number of singles, but they're mostly known for what some consider to be the cornerstone of this gothic subculture. That's the Batcave, based out of, I believe, London, England. And they were a band, they were bar owners. Somehow they made that work. I've known a number of bands that have tried to run businesses. It doesn't always go according to plan, but that's who's back in there. And a surprising entrant who's gone back into the Foxhole, Andre 3000 of Outkast. I've been playing their music here lately. Back in 2003, they released an album, Andre 3000 and Big Boy, called Speakerbox / The Love Below. And the thing about this album was it was very unique. It was the two of them actually doing solo music, but it was released as a double CD under the Outkast label. So, while Big Boys was pretty, I would say, border fair hip-hop at the time, and that's not a discredit to him. I love him as a rapper, I love him as a musician, and I love him as an entertainer, but it's kind of what you would expect. It wasn't a whole lot of, cursing and, naked women and things of that nature. But Andre 3000 took a bit of a different approach. He's always been a different kind of musician, as emphasized by the big hit off that CD, Hey Ya. I don't think anybody saw that coming, and it was sort of a late bloomer. A lot of people didn't take to it right away, and then it sort of grew on them. Well, I found a song on that CD called Dracula's Wedding that was pretty interesting. And when I listened to it, it was kind of cute in a way. So I decided to add that. So they're back in the Foxhole, and they're being joined by, and I hope I'm pronouncing this name right, LaRue, who is an English synth pop duo. They've released 3 albums. If you've ever bought the video game Bayonetta, or seen a commercial for, you've heard the song "In for the Kill," and that was the original is by LaRue. There's the version on the commercial for the game was a remix. So there's that. Toes on Tails was a side project by members of Bauhaus, excuse me, similar to what members of Sisters of Mercy did with The Mission when Andrew Eldritch and the others broke off, only not as much infighting. Their big hit, for lack of a better word, was a song called Go that was featured on a number of soundtracks, including Career Opportunity with Frank Whaley and Jennifer Connelly. So they're jumping into the list. They actually have 1 album, 3 EPs, and several other musical credits to their name. But it was a side project. It had a limited amount of time, and I believe the project itself officially quit around 1986. Now, this last band that's officially first time in the Foxhole, and I hope I'm pronouncing its name right, Ist, I-S-T. They're a Manchester alternative / goth rock band. They've released 1 EP, 5 singles, and their debut album came out in January 5 of this year. And they do have a bit of that sort of goth rock sound to it, steady drum beat, a thumping bass, and things of that nature. So I decided to add them into the list. And of course, like, comment, share, subscribe. Let all your friends know I'm enjoying doing this. This has been a load of fun, and I would like to keep doing it. So please, let's try to stay safe, have some fun, and as always, together we rise.